Last part, we left off with the Leaf Ninja leaving the 5 Kage Summit, along with the ninja from the other villages that decided to tag along. Though, just as they left, Itachi started to feel the effects of his illness, and when Naruto saw this, he and Tsunade combined their healing abilities to cure him. Afterwards, Naruto decided to give his eyes to Itachi, and healed himself. His eyes were still able to transform though, proving that they were more than just implants, but they had become his very own. Then, the ninja truly set off, with Tsunade telling Naruto that she'd give him some medical ninjutsu tips as they headed back to their village. Now we get to the actual part. The ninja of the Leaf and their companions from the other villages ventured to the Leaf village. Along the journey, Tsunade began to teach Naruto medical ninjutsu, which he picked up very quickly as he felt it was kind of like his normal healing abilities, but with extra steps. He also worked on the Kekkei Genkai engraved into him from the tailed beast chakra he received. Sasuke did the same, but he also got used to his new 6 Tomei Rinnegan and sword fight with Chojuro, as they both had swords of the 7 ninja swordsmen. Itachi got used to his new Eternal 6-Path Enhanced Sharingan, and actually found himself doing a lot of training with A and B. With Sasuke and Naruto too, as they had both wielded, he also felt that he had a new power within him, but he hadn't tried to use it, as he knew it wasn't the time or place. A also got Jiraiya involved, being interested in the Toad Sage after finding out he was the master of the 4th Hokage, who he had much respect for. Jiraiya, after hearing A's reason for wanting to challenge him, brought up the fact that Naruto was the 4th son, which Naruto would know, as when Hagoromo imbued his power within Naruto, he sensed the part of Miyato and Kushin that they had left within the seal on the son's belly. He also then made it so that they could contact Naruto at the same time to deliver their messages that they wanted to pass on before they did, allowing for Naruto to have a heart-to-heart with both of his parents at the same time that motivated him during his training even more and inspired multiple stories to be told to him by both of his senseis. The tailed beasts also did plenty of conversing with each other, mostly teasing Kurama that he had softened up a lot. The point being that everyone did a lot of training with each other. And beyond training, Itachi was still catching up with his little brother. Though the time finally came and they arrived at the Hidden Leaf. Aha! The Hokage bellowed. He then was about to burst through the Hidden Leaf gates when he suddenly was a few paces back from where he was originally, and the one who stood where he was Sasuke, his Rinne Sharingan glowing bright purple. Raikage, he said. Me and the other Leaf Ninja have to make a stop. Naruto, go show them to the old training grounds. Don't keep us waiting, Abe barked. What a drag, Dari sighed. So, both groups went their separate ways, and Tsunade asked Sasuke what he was up to. He explained, I've learned the truth of the Uchiha massacre. The statement shocked and confused the 3 non-Uchiha, as Tsunade and Jiraiya, being Sannin, didn't even know the truth of the massacre. Itachi then stepped up. I think it'd be easier to show you rather than tell. He then used his Sharingan to show the memories of the meeting leading up to the slaughter and even the truth of Shishui's death, explaining what had happened with Danzo. Naruto and his master were both pissed. So this was the cross my master and Itachi had to bear, Jiraiya said through his grit teeth. Those bastards! Naruto barked. And Tsunade, who was leaning against the wall, proceeded to crash the side of her fist into it, causing it to crumble. Without uttering a word, she headed to the Hokage building, where she for once hoped that those darned old hags and that slimy bastard Danzo were meeting me there without her. Sasuke was at her side. The other 3 could do nothing but follow behind from a distance because of the bloodthirsty aura emanating from the 2. The pair then shortly burst into the Hokage office to the surprise of the rest of the council. Tsunade! What is the meaning of this? The 2 hags asked. Danzo was going to say something, but he didn't get the chance to, since Tsunade, on sight, punched him in the face, sending him flying into the wall. And Sasuke appeared over him with his bandaged Samehara that was quaking in his hands due to sensing its user's burning anger. What is the meaning of this? They asked again. Simple. We know the truth, answered Sasuke. What are you? Danzo looked at the weapon by his head and the hatred in Sasuke's glowing eyes, realizing what he meant. The answer is quite simple, Danzo, a voice said. Naruto and Jiraiya then walked in, side by side, and faced Danzo. They then split, revealing Itachi. The truth of the massacre. The truth of who you really are. And the truth of Shisui's death as well. Before he could say anything, Sasuke lifted Danzo by his neck and he asked Tsunade what he was supposed to do with him. She told Sasuke that for the travesty that was the Uchiha massacre, for Shisui and the constant conspiring, she would have the council imprisoned. Though I doubt you'll go willingly, will you, Danzo? Danzo then confirmed her theory as he tried to attack Sasuke with an air bullet, but it was easily blocked by the Susanoo ribcage. Sasuke then cocked Samehada back, but his arm was stopped. He looked back angrily, but his anger subsided when he saw that it was Itachi, who said, "Let me." He then kicked Danzo in the stomach and grabbed his arm, using the Amaterasu to burn through his arm lock. Everyone saw the Sharingan implanted into his arm. Orochimaru doesn't exactly have tight lips. He mentioned the arm he made for you during a not-so-friendly encounter. He then looked towards Tsunade and asked if he could do whatever was necessary. She nodded. Then, before Danzo could try and attack, Itachi ran through him with the blade of his Susanoo. Sasuke asked his brother, "So, you stopped me because you had a grudge too, huh?" He smirked. "No, little brother," Itachi said. "I just have a hunch that I'll be the one best equipped to take him on." Danzo's body then disappeared, and he could be seen through the hole in the wall that Itachi and Tsunade's attacks made, running on the rooftops. See? Though, yes, I may have been willing to do whatever it takes to keep the village safe. That doesn't mean I want to kill him any less. Itachi then ran towards Danzo, catching up to him in no time, and grabbing him with the arm of the Susanoo. He then threw him in the air. "You will repent for your sins, Danzo, and to pay for the lives of my kin, including the ones you used for that arm." He then transformed into the third stage Susanoo, and summoned the Totsuka blade, piercing Danzo through his chest. "You will be sealed in a drunken hell for the rest of eternity." He then sealed him away, and as he did, it felt like a weight was lifted from his shoulders. It was the same with Sasuke, who caught up to watch. The two then reconvened with the others while they got ready to imprison the two other elders. They tried and failed to struggle as they yelled, "You don't know what you're doing! You need us! The village needs this council!" Sasuke walked up to the two. "We already have a new one. Two of the Sannin, one being the Hokage and the other being this village's main intel gatherer, Jiraiya and Tsunade. And then, there's the one who took on the hate of an entire village and the weight of his clan's death to keep the order of it. My brother, the Hokage of the Shadows, Itachi Uchiha." The elders argued that no one would go for it, but they were told that they had better things to worry about. Tsunade had them in prison and told Sasuke that she actually approves of his new council idea, wanting Jiraiya to take over for the affairs of the Anpu, saying it wouldn't interfere with his spy network, and that it actually aid him. Jiraiya agreed, and then Tsunade went over to Itachi, getting on her hands and her knees, apologizing for the sins of her predecessors, while requesting that he would join. He agreed, saying as long as she was sure, and helped her up. Itachi then changed out of his Akatsuki robes, and they all headed to where the others were. They apologized for keeping them waiting so long, and Tsunade tried to get them situated in temporary boarding. After that, everyone was preparing for the battle with the Akatsuki that was sure to come. The Kage would have frequent communication with each other, and would be preparing forces to deal with the Akatsuki, but not as wide scale as the original, since they weren't expecting full-on war. From then on, there was tons of training. Itachi talked to Kisame, trying to get him to fight with them again, but Kisame refused. He told him that the whole point of him joining the Akatsuki was to see the Eye of the Moon plan come to fruition, and since he didn't believe that anyone in the Akatsuki was powerful enough to beat Sasuke, then he didn't want to go back to a world of lies. He then asked Itachi to do him one last favor as his former partner. He wanted to fight him, and he wanted Itachi to kill him. Itachi looked to his former partner in the eyes and told him, "If that's what you wish." Itachi then put the guards under a genjutsu that would let up after only a little while, and then he put a note explaining what he was up to. He led Kisame to a remote place in the woods and asked him if he was ready, knowing he wasn't the type for sappy words. Kisame gripped the hilt of the confiscated sword Itachi found for him at the jail. The shark then nodded, and the two clashed. It started by clashing blades, Itachi having picked back up the sword, and he used his 3 tomoe. They stayed like that for a bit, and after clashing with a shark bomb and a fireball, Kisame told Itachi to kick it up. "I get that I'm not at my best since I don't have my Samehara, but that doesn't mean I don't want you at yours. This was the level you were at the last time I saw you, but I can tell you've gotten stronger since that. Not so weak, but definitely sick of you." Itachi nodded and focused his power into his eyes, transforming them into the EMS. He surrounded himself in a flaming aura as he said, "It's about time we move to the climax of this fight. Wouldn't you agree, my friend?" Kisame flashed his jagged teeth in a menacing but genuine way. "The two of us, friends. Who would have guessed? Let's end this, Itachi." The two then ran towards each other and clashed with everything they had. Now we go to the hidden sand. Shortly after he returned, Gaara had locked away Deidara and Sasori, though after a little while of being back, he and Kankuro visited too. Gaara visited Deidara first. "Well, if it isn't the Kazekage. If you're looking for an art show, then sorry," he said as he used his hands that were locked away in metal gauntlets to gesture to the muzzle put on him. "But right now, I'm on leave, so to speak." Gaara remembered what Itachi had said to him about Deidara at the summit. He then asked, "Tell me, why is it that you decided to join the Akatsuki?" Deidara snickered and told him that he didn't exactly choose to join. He then told him about how Itachi was the one to beat him in a challenge that resulted in him joining, but became a rogue because of the fact that no one appreciated his art, seeing that it was just a dangerous weapon. "So in that case, would you consider joining the Sand Village?" Deidara quickly looked up. "Are you serious? What, are you crazy? Do you not remember me trying to bomb your village?" Gaara told him, "I stopped you from causing any damage, but in our fight I was able to bear witness to your art, and that's why I want you to become a ninja of this village." So I guess it's just bygones for me trying to kill you, huh?" Deidara joked. Gaara then told him, "As you know, I'm the one-tailed Jinchuriki. Because of that, my tailed beast caused me to lose control and damage the village. It made me feared. I was treated as an outcast, but even after all that, I was able to work hard and gain this village's respect and become Kazekage." For a minute, Gaara flashed back to Naruto's face, smiling upon him. "Deidara, I believe in your art, and I know that you can garner the respect it deserves. I hold zero ill will towards you, so tell me, will you consider joining me?" Deidara smirked. So it seems witnessing my art up close, i.e. me almost blowing you up, caused you to gain new respect for my art. Fine, I don't need to think about it. As long as you see my jutsu for what it is, art, then I'm willing to work with you. Gaara smirked as he used the sand to remove Deidara's gauntlets. "Glad to have you, Deidara." He then put his hand out, and the two shook. In terms of Sasori, Kankuro went to him in his cell and tried what Gaara did, but it was to no avail. He tried multiple times. Then, after a bit of trying, he tried a new angle. "Make me your student." Sasori asked him why he would do that and got an answer of he wasn't doing much at the moment anyway. "Besides," Kankuro said, "I know you truly believe in your art. Don't you want to be able to continue it on? And not to mention, the challenge to mold someone with a similar mindset to just as good of a puppeteer as you?" Sasori smirked. "As good as me, Yeah, right. But fine, this seems like it could be a fun challenge. Not to mention, you did say that Data got out and is running amok. If I don't do anything, that idiot might convince the people of this village that art fleeting is superior to art eternal, which simply isn't true. Alright, here's what we're gonna do. Sasuke then told Kankuro that he'd give him lessons and instructions, sometimes even assignments to complete. After he was finished, he was to show him his progress, or how well he listened, and he'd grade him on his work. Kankuro smiled and got on his hands and knees, thanking him. Sasuke was a special prisoner, so he got his own room and cell so the two could meet without being interrupted. Kankuro was all work and really enjoyed working on his puppets, so he frequently visited, and Sasuke, while he wouldn't say it out loud, had actually kind of enjoyed the arrangement, quickly taking a liking to his teacher role. Back at the Leaf, B would continue to train his disciples in Karui and Omoe, though they'd be joined by Chojuro and the Uchiha brothers on occasion, and they would all train in swordsmanship. Itachi and B also worked on something by themselves, as they tried to work on something that Itachi had gotten the idea for because of something Naruto had said once, but they went somewhere really remote outside of the Leaf every time they did it. A would challenge the Uchiha, Tsunade, his bro, and the son and master of Minato. Kakashi did some intense training, wanted to get a hold of his new Sharingan. That was a gift from Naruto. Itachi was going to give him his eyes, but Naruto decided that it would be better to give him his since they were stronger. Kurotsuchi found herself training with her Jinchuriki and Chojuro a lot, improving her physical capabilities and working on her Kekkei Genkai. All the hidden villages that attended the 5 Kage Summit kept in frequent contact, and the hidden waterfall joined in communications, as they were quite friendly with Naruto's timeskip group that had paid a visit to their village, as when they did, events transpired similar to the Part 1 special, Protect the Waterfall, with the 4 having to ward off a rebellion and an attempt on capturing Fu. Shibuki, the leader, would be very grateful and also would be very friendly with his ninja for helping him and his village, which is why he welcomed Naruto and Sasuke into his village when they were looking for Fu, and why he didn't have a problem with her going with them. He trusted them. And since Fu was also a friend, and the threat was so large, he was completely okay with working with the hidden villages. One day, during a call over large monitors discussing their prepping for taking down the Akatsuki, the men in the orange mask that invaded the 5 Kage Summit had barged into the call. Sorry to butt in out of nowhere. I'll make this quick. I just want to declare the 4th Great Shinobi War.